So I was saying my experience is mostly in design. It's kind of where my heart is. I branched into a planning end of it probably about 5 or 6 years ago, just by chance. At first, the planning for me was horrible because my design brain was telling me that I had to do this, but my planning side was telling me that I had to do something else. So it was conflicting. So that's when I got my team, and they said, well, Aaron, you have to do it this way. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't do it that way? So I'm not knowing what everybody does here, but I'm sure most of you are planners of some sort or some sort of organization or your own. So I understand. At first, when I opened up my planning company, I was like, oh, I can do this. You know, I've been planning events pretty much for 20 years. And not knowing all of the logistical aspects of everything. One of the biggest crutches, I think, in the planning world for me was transportation and invitations. For some reason, they always screwed me over, and I got sucked into this abyss of invitation hell. So I kind of like let that go to someone else. Back to what I really, really, truly love is the design and the aspect of design, the tabletop, the feeling that you get in the tent when you walk in, that awe feeling, the overall aspect of what you're doing from start to finish is where I really truly believe that everything for me starts and finishes. There's a lot of things in the world of events that some people are good at, some people are bad at, some people are great at a little bit of everything. For me, design from start to finish, conceptualization, is where my heart is. So when I started doing the design lab with BizBash several years ago, we kind of came up with this concept. And it's a lot of fun, and we'll go into that just a little bit, but it kind of leads you into a world where you're kind of forced into a team, not knowing who the team is, and then you're able to visualize and conceptualize and come up with things that are always different. We have these fake scenarios that I came up with a couple years ago, and they're the same ones that I use all the time. It's basically based on summer, spring, winter, and fall. And each time we've done this in the different sectors in this country, it's amazing what people come up with. I mean, I wouldn't, sometimes they put tables in the middle of tables, and it's very strange. Sometimes people fight. I have to like separate people. One lady swore at me, it was horrible. But you know, it's the event world. So today is kind of just to have fun, to create, to come up with things in a team effort that you are kind of forced into. A lot of times in my business, traveling around the country, I am often taken out of my comfort zone and forced into a position or a situation with a catering company that I'm not used to, or a lighting company that I have no idea how they do things. Because you can't always farm all of your besties over to, you know, across the country or 600 miles away just because, you know, the budget doesn't lie in there, or however that works. So oftentimes, you know, when you sit down for that first meeting, or when I sit down for that first meeting, I want to know what that person's strengths are. How did they get to the position where they were recommended, or they're in the position that I have to work with them, or that we are, you know, in the position together. So I try to figure out what everyone's strengths are, where they fall short on, and then I kind of refocus my energy on the next person or the other person that's going to help me out, you know, achieving the ultimate goal for the event. I was just in a position recently where I was in a different part of the country, and a planner that I was working with that I was not familiar with, a rather high-end planner, we were in a different part of the site, and she was then taking the client into the room for pictures or whatnot. It was a wedding, and she's screaming at me on the phone because the groomsman's the groom's boutonniere isn't there, and I'm like, she's literally screaming at me, swearing at me too. Wasn't the same woman, but And I thought to myself, why don't you know that? Why, I mean, I think as a planner and as a designer, you should know everything. You should know a little bit of everything. If you don't know how to make a boutonniere in the event world, in the social world, something falls apart, you should probably learn. If you don't know how to do a centerpiece, you should probably try to figure it out. Because if the florist doesn't show up, you're going to have to do something. If you don't know how to pin a drape back, maybe you should learn. So I think in my world, I've tried to learn a little bit of everything. I even took cooking classes. I even took serving classes. I even took bartending classes. Because if the bartender has a heart attack, I'm on it. I've walked down aisles as groomsmen just because I have a tux on. I have to think of my world as, you know, everything to this client. I have to, from start to finish, it has to be perfect. And if something happens in any aspect, I should be able to control it. I should be able to make a boutonniere. I should be able to pop a blossom off something and throw it on a jacket just so the picture happens. And once I taught her that, then she felt like an idiot. But that wasn't the point. It was just, you know, why don't you know this? You've been in the business for however long you've been in the business. So I think that if you try to learn a little bit of everything, it's good. A cooking class does amazing wonders. A serving class, you know, how do you carry the service out? How do you put the forks down? Where does the B&B plate go? Which I hate B&B plates. And at most of my events, there's no bread and butter plates. They're like, well, how do we serve the bread and butter? I'm like, ugh, forget it. Because it just takes up, you have 10-inch plate, then you have this space, and then all of a sudden there's no room in the middle of the table for anything else. Side note, anyways. Jumping a little bit, as far as the design, when you come into my office or when you sit down with me, there's 3 things that I love, that I kind of live by. It's called the 3 C's. It's conceptualize, create, and confirm. And the reason that I do that is because it helps me visualize the event from start to finish. Again, not knowing where your professions lie or where your brands are, it pretty much it's straight across the board, whether you're in food, fashion, event planning, flowers, design, whatever. Conceptualize, create, and confirm. When the client sits down with me, we come up with the ideas. A lot of times they come to me with their Pinterest boards or whatever those are, and I want to scream. I hate Pinterest. I think it's dreadful. And it's kind of become this DIY nonsense for everyone. Everybody knows everything all of a sudden. These brides are like, my color story has changed. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know, I didn't even know I had a color story. I don't even know what that means. But I think it's fun for people to kind of, it's like Garanimals, you know, for adults. It's a little misleading because it kind of gives the person the opportunity to think they know a little bit more than they do. Anyways, conceptualize. When clients sit down with me, we kind of brainstorm. I love pulling everything out. When the client is sitting with me, it's the linens and some flowers and some tabletop and the chair and the drape and some lighting. You know, as much as I can do right there for that client to build the look is better for me. My assistant's taking copious notes, things are happening. So I know when I'm sitting there with that client what the design looks like. I often take pictures of the client too, sitting next to the table of all the mess, just so that I can visualize who that person was, because I'm sure you have a lot of clients coming in and out of your office. I, too, don't remember all that much when it comes to all the clients. So if I can see a picture with the client standing next to the mess that we created, which is going to be eventually her event or their event, then that will help me. Can I put that right into the file and everything's good. From the conceptualization, the client leaves. Most of the time, I don't give away too much unless I know the client is not shopping around. I'm not going to give them a full-fledged idea for them to take it somewhere else. So I'm going to give them as much as I possibly can in little tiny samples, just so that I know that I'm not going to lose that job in case they want to take it somewhere else and get a little cheaper, which has always been done. Create. Simple. Self-explanatory. Create the design. As soon as the client leaves my office, I create the event as if I got it. From food to entertainment to transportation, everything is done as if I won, because I can control the environment in my mind as far as what the event is going to look like, how it feels, what it sounds like. Even if I didn't win, even if I'm not competing, it is done. It's in paper. It goes into what we call a creative. The creative is our log. It's basically our Bible. So that creative goes back to everyone in the back, whoever's doing drapery or whatever the aspect of their job is, and that creative becomes the log. Now, it can change aggressively. It can change color. If the client calls you 4 or 5 times, well, I saw this color in this book, and, blah, 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 and I like lavender now. I'm like, okay. So we change everything to lavender. I ask them first, what color do you think lavender is? Because lavender to you might be different than lavender to you. The lavender that he has on might not be the lavender that you think is lavender. So I try to go back into their mind and say, what do you think lavender is? So I'm sure, maybe some of this is new, maybe it isn't, maybe you utilize this kind of stuff. It helps me. The last one for me is confirm. 2 weeks prior to that client coming in. Now in different areas of the country, like in Chicago, when a client comes into our office, we get all of this information, take it all down, create it, all that other stuff. We turn it into an event, basically, and then they come back to see a mock-up. They would literally probably come into a room that's probably this size and see a visual mock-up of their party. From linens to lighting to some food to a little bit of entertainment. It's like the whole thing. We kind of give it to them because that's just kind of how Chicago rolls. I know New York doesn't do that, LA doesn't do that, Dallas doesn't do that. All of a sudden Chicago got into and it costs us a fortune. A lot of times it's only 45% of the clientele that book with us, or 50%. So it costs us a lot of money. The wholesaler actually told me one time that the amount of money that we spend in mock-up flowers is more than 3 retail shops in a year. So we're trying to get out of it. We're trying to do more concept boards and things like that, but it unfortunately has evolved into this. Anyways, the confirm, 2 weeks prior to a client coming into my office, again, to see this, I call them up and say, do we still like lavender? Are we still on silver and gold? Do you still like the sound of rain falling when you walk into your ceremony? All of those things. Just because if I don't do that, and I've learned from mistakes that when that client walks in and if they hate pink or if they hate red or they've changed to coral and you have everything in that room based on that original color, you're dead. Because what happens, and again, not knowing where you cohabitate as far as your jobs, when a client comes to us, they probably will see 2 other people or 1 other person. If I start the concept, I usually want to be first. If I start the concept and they go to the next company and they start to pull other things out of her mind, then not only is the client confused, but they already have another color. So if you don't talk to, and maybe that other color is better for them. So if you don't talk to them 2 weeks prior at least, you don't know what else they've listened to or heard or seen. So it really, really helps. I just kind of recap, go over all the design, make sure that we are still on the same page. And it really, really helps. What else? Okay, design lab, enough talk. What this is just fun. There's nothing serious about it. No punching. There's coffee and donuts. No, I'm kidding. And basically what I want you to do is there are these bios. This is summer. This is spring, winter, and fall. Read them and learn what the client is about. Again, it's fictitious. It means nothing. It's not serious. No one died. We're not raising funds. And just kind of read it first. Get with your team. Figure out what their strengths are. There's a lot of beautiful product over there. beautiful flowers, gorgeous linens, gorgeous tabletop stuff. I want to give the sponsors a shout out. Classic Party Rental, Blush Designs, Corporate AV, Dynamic Drape, Eclectic Props, and Mrs. Bloom. Amazing people that just donated all of these things. Again, somewhere around the country, each time, these people just donate these. The flowers that are over there are spectacular. The good thing is, this is kind of like a flower class, which is awesome. And I'm probably one of the best florists in the country, so. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of break it all up. There's scissors, don't cut yourself, please. I think there's insurance. And then just figure out what everybody's strengths are. I guarantee you the first couple things that you pull out are not gonna be it. I'll come around, I'll have fun with it, and then we'll just go from there, okay? All right, so everyone in this first row, you're team 1, and you're gonna be Summer. This group right here is team 2, stopping there, and you're gonna be Spring. This group right here is Winter, and I might take a few of you off. And then this last group is Fall, okay? And the good thing is you have a guy in this. It's about guys. All right, folks, so have fun. Just take your time. We have an hour and a half to kind of achieve this. You are required to do tabletop. Now, you don't have to do a setting of 8. You can do a setting of 2. There's not enough chairs for all that. But just kind of play around with it. Pull out fabrics, pull out props, pull out products and things like that, and take your time, all right?
Yeah.
It's an open place though,
it's
right?
It's an open place.
So we gotta bring some colors.
Color in and warm, I guess.
Yeah.
Slow it down. Talk to your teammates. Let's see what everyone else is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to step back. Step back from your tables. If you are constantly on top of them, you're never going to see what it looks like when you walk in the room. Conceptualize this as a room full of the same look over and over and over and over again. Make sure it's fun. Make sure it looks fabulous for a room of 30 tables or 40 tables. One of the most important things that I do is I always step back. If you stand on top of the table, you're never gonna know what the design is. No one's listening. Don't forget to put things back. Be nice to others. When the term is handsome, handsome means edited. It means really well edited. You have to think about how many times this will be seen on a table and conceptualize maybe 40 tables of this. It has to be handsome. Handsome is edited, not a lot of stuff. Edit. But you know, like this type of stuff. Take the water tube out and wire it into.
Here's some wire.
Yeah.
Yep.
All sorts of things. So far, so good. I think that this linen is a little. It looks like if I would picture this 17 times, 20 times, I think I'd get nauseous. But it might be the right one. I might be wrong. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why did you choose this linen?
Because it's spring
Because-
and it's nautical.
Okay.
Aqua.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay. What happened to that stripe?
Well, we thought it was more summery.
Okay.
No? Get our train of thought?
Oh, I get it.
I don't like it. You want to see if you can find something else? Not that much.
I'm not fond of this.
Which? The flowers or
I don't like the combination. I mean, I think this is more interesting because it kind of plays off the color. This is a little too, like, let's try this. These
I love this box.
Cymbidiums. So you can break it off. This is pretty, that combination. So maybe you do some greens or some, look at these anthuriums here, they're amazing.
Oh yeah, you love those. And you would do this with jasmine.
I'm not quite sure, but this is a good start.
Okay.
Again, these roses.
This is full of this.
Yeah. Maybe pops of yellow. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, you know, like things like that. Did you ever reflex a rose before?
No.
You want it so it's soft. The flower absorbs water during the week, so if it's an event for the weekend, we would get in on Tuesday, and by Saturday, you're able to do this. It's real pliable. Actually, the tablecloth and the highboy is what's really making me happy.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you got rid of all that other stuff and you just saw the brown with that checker, with the plaid, it's this
Can I
thing.
just flip this for a second?
Yes. Don't be so literal. Okay, now, you should just put water in here, make a big, beautiful arrangement of those pink roses. Stunning. Open those roses.
Okay.
Do you-
All right.
I love this. This now is not good.
It's not working.
Yeah, this is
So
out.
that's why we like these.
This is beautiful.
Oh, I love these ones.
Okay.
Yeah, we found them over there. We snagged them because they drop them off.
All right.
Nice work. What do you think?
Do you have scissors?
Scissors are right there. And no, I opened up right there. I love this. Okay, that looks
And
better.
now, this makes more
Yeah.
sense.
This works now with this.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
Okay, so
Put the one
ladies,
back.
ladies, I want to show you something. This is called reflexing. You're gonna open up the rose like this,
Oh my goodness. Magic.
and then what happens is
Wow.
you're gonna start this arrangement here.
Okay.
Open up the rose. It's a little tight. Just get your fingers in there and open it up, and crisscross your stems.
Okay.
So then you build this really big arrangement. So you just keep going this way, this way, this way, this way. All of a sudden you have, this is beautiful. This is Asian
This ties
inspired.
in with the paint.
Irregardless of what this vase looks like, just work with it. I mean, I think you're in the right direction here now.
Okay, good.
Okay?
I love these. So. I love this shape. I
Yeah.
love this.
And I don't know if the chair is right anymore, but we'll
Well,
see.
we've got the gold one right there behind us. Yeah, I think the gold one's a little cooler. Yeah.
All right, so
All right. Try the rose. Y'all want to sit on the rose?
yeah, I mean, once those flowers start coming into here with
All right,
this
yeah,
charger,
yeah.
that's beautiful.
All right, this is coming together now.
You are now dissecting the color too much. The
Yeah.
concentration of the two colors was brilliant. You are now adding too much. All of this, get rid of it. Yes. The concentration of the color is important. If you want to do this tulip, grab that base right there and just do a small thing of
We
tulip.
need to do this one right here. We need to this.
Yeah.
You gotta double
This
step.
before it was brilliant. Now you're shoving it in there just to shove it in there. Okay, so this is great. Keep pulling. Oh, these are short. I wasn't expecting that.
One
You
more.
were
This
like
is our
the way
last
they
one.
were open.
Huh?
You liked how they were open and
I,
started falling out.
it was kind of. It was. Wait.
It wasn't as tight. There
Right.
was less in there, so it was sort of. Yeah, it just was cascading out of the vase. Now it's tight.
No. It's because you guys were putting all that stuff in there. 1 second.
There. That was a long one in there. I got it.
It needs to be wider and a little bit more, less
Pulled out.
contrived. You know, this is kind of, beautiful. I love the shape of that. Don't add too much. Don't try to add too much. I'm sorry. So then I would do, there's nothing more sophisticated and manly than gray and brown. This is a beautiful palette together. So if you do this with this is good. So maybe we kind of like tie it in a knot. I know this isn't a napkin, but you can make sense of it. Something like that, just beautiful. Maybe put a blossom right there. A little blossom, like one of these brown orchids. Yes. So this is the summer team. This is a beautiful collaboration of minds. This isn't where it started, but this is where it finished. Amazing color concentration of the turquoise and the pinks and the berries. And I think it's really striking what they came up with. So good job, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The spring group. This is nautical themed. I love the way it came together, the blue and the nautical stripe and the big yellow pot. And it really started off somewhere completely different, but I think that it evolved into something really, really nice. Irregardless if somebody thinks it looks like summer, I think this is pretty nautical in spring. So good job, ladies. And
Thank you.
good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is not anywhere near where this started off.
Definitely not.
But I think, for me, it's my favorite. And I just wanted to let you know, I love the combination of this. It really made, once you got this linen back here, it really made the difference. And then you start adding these berry tones in there, and it really, really turned it into a wintry theme for me. And I think it's just beautiful, but definitely not where you guys started off with. So congratulations, it's really gorgeous. Good job, give yourself a hand. Woo! So this is autumn or fall. We definitely had a different direction from where we started. And I think that once we got out of the fact that linen being our base, we really made a difference. This is really beautiful. Love the combinations, love the simplicity. Really, really well done. And kudos to all of you. Congratulations. All right, folks, that's it. Have fun for the rest of Biz Bash. Take care.